Are you burned out but still passionate? Here's what that actually means and why it matters more than most people think. This is what my clients tell me, and this may be true for you too. You care deeply, but it often feels like you're running on fumes and you're scared to slow down or stop. This isn't about quitting your mission. This is about not letting your mission destroy you in the process. If you think burnout is just about being tired, it's not. By the end of this video, you'll have a better understanding about what you're experiencing right now. I know what it's like to build your identity around helping others, only to wake up one day wondering if you can even keep going. That's why I had to figure out what my exhaustion was actually telling me. So if you've ever felt responsible for everything and everyone around you, but you still are feeling empty, you are in the right place. I know for me, it is so easy for me to drop everything for everyone around me. And people also tend to come to me when they need something or they need help, not because I can do all of the things, but because I am someone who is so generous and I am kind of a jack of all trades, which I think is actually a good thing, but that makes me good at a lot of things. And lots of people know that. And so I tend to be someone that people come to. And I'm also this very trusting person. People trust me. So if you're someone who people tend to trust you a lot with their stories, with the things that they're going through, this is for you. But what most people don't realize is not all exhaustion is the same. And treating them the same can be a huge mistake. So, what's actually happening inside of you? Let's break down the difference between burnout, compassion fatigue, and vicarious trauma. Burnout, which is what most people hear of, really is doing too many things. It's too many tasks, too little rest, and being on system overload. It's having too much work. But there's another level, especially for leaders and change makers and caretakers. And many of us, especially if you are a millennial leader or someone in this sandwich generation where you're being a leader and also you're being a caretaker for your children, maybe you're being a caretaker for your parents, compassion fatigue is what happens when you are a caregiver or you're in a field where you are caring for other people. And this can even happen if you are a leader of a team or an organization that you're carrying the weight of other people with you. You're emotionally depleted because of your empathy. And I've even heard compassion fatigue been called empathy fatigue because you have that empathy. And maybe you are someone who identifies as being highly sensitive or you're very empathetic. And so you're taking all that on. What ends up happening is you take it on so often that you become fatigued. And so you have a hard time continuing to have empathy and compassion for people because you're essentially burned out from being compassionate and empathetic. And then vicarious trauma, on the other hand, is absorbing the trauma from the people that you serve or from the people that you help. This is especially common for people in social work, therapists, caseworkers, first responders, healthcare workers, anyone who is helping someone through a crisis, whether it's in that moment or later listening to the stories over and over again. If you are still passionate, but your heart feels kind of heavy or numb, you might be dealing with more than just too much to do. You might be dealing with that compassion fatigue and vicarious trauma. These aren't just labels. And sometimes I don't like to give labels to things because I don't want us to hang our hat on, I have this or I am this, so I can't change it. But labels can be important in understanding where you're at and what you're facing so then you know the first step to freeing yourself from this. And when you get this wrong, you can stay stuck in the place that you're in. So how do you know which one is which? Before I share that, if you are struggling with things we are talking about today, I put together a 7-day challenge to help you snap out of this. It's free and you can get it at the link in the description of this video. There's one red flag that lots of people miss, and it can actually make things worse if you ignore it. Many people think, what's the worst that can happen? if I just keep going, I've been doing it so far, so I can just power through. And that is oftentimes when we think about being a millennial leader, oftentimes our parents were the ones who had to pull up their bootstraps and just keep going. I know specifically my parents both grew up farmers or farmer adjacent. And that when you're a farmer, you don't get a sick day, you don't get mental health days. So they had to, out of necessity, pull up their bootstraps and keep going, even though they were suffering themselves. I don't want that for you. And for many of you, that is not the case. And so when you are just trying to push through and say, like, I can just keep going, I can do this, or, I can take this on for the people that I'm helping, I can take this on for the people that I'm caretaking for, what ends up happening is you end up losing yourself. You end up losing your identity of who you are, and your team and your cause. They all feel it when you ignore your own limits. If you think nobody notices when you're running on fumes, think again. Burnout, compassion fatigue, and vicarious trauma leak out into your work and leak into your family and your relationships and even the people you are trying to help. So when you're ignoring your limits, it's actually diminishing the impact you can create with the people that you're helping. Burnout isn't a sign of failure. It's a message. And it's oftentimes a message from your body that your mission needs to evolve with you, not against. I know taking breaks leaves us feeling guilty. If you've ever felt ashamed for needing a break, I have a Facebook group that you can join if you'd like to be around other people who won't judge you for wanting to take a break. And I put the link in the description of this video. So what do you actually do when you realize you're in this spot? There's one thing most passionate people skip, and it's why their burnout never goes away. We're often told we need to set boundaries. But when you are built to give, setting boundaries feels selfish. So let me reframe this for you. Setting boundaries is not selfish. It's the bare minimum for survival. When you get really good at it, it helps you to shift out of surviving and into thriving, because you're probably actually in survival mode right now. And if you skip setting boundaries, everything that is important to you, your mission, your family, your relationships, your fun, your joy, will eventually fall apart. Here's a little funny thing. Talking about boundaries, my dog does have very few boundaries, so he just jumped up off my lap as I'm recording this. But let's talk about boundaries a little bit. Boundaries actually allow you to keep going and not step away from your work. One of the things I did, because I work from home most of the time, and sometimes my family is home, especially during the pandemic in 2020, I was at home a lot, and so was my family because we couldn't go anywhere. So one of the boundaries I had to set, because they got so used to coming in and asking me a question and then going out, and it was so hard for me to stay focused on the work that I was doing, that I had to put a little sign on my door. I made it a little stoplight so it was easy to understand it. That red means do not knock unless the house is on fire or someone is bleeding. Yellow means I'm on a meeting, but I'm probably not facilitating. It still needs to be something important. And green means I'm not on a meeting, but can this wait an extra half an hour? And that helped me to set the boundary with my family that when I'm at work, I'm at work and I can stay focused, so that when I'm with them later, it helps me to focus on them and helps me to be present. Boundaries can help you to be present in the present moment, which then helps you to stay focused. It helps you to be confident in your decision making, and it helps you to have deeper, more connective relationships, as opposed to, if I didn't have those boundaries, then if I wasn't getting the work done that I needed to get done while I was quote unquote at work, even though I'm at home, then when I left my office and I was with my family, I would end up thinking about all the things I needed to do with work. I would find myself checking my phone more often because I didn't quite get done what I needed to. And so the boundaries actually help me to be able to have better relationships with my family and help me to focus better at work. Think of it this way. If the mission is too important to lose you, then boundaries are what make you last. What's one small boundary you could set this week? Drop it in the comments. You might inspire someone else, and I'll also share mine in the comments too. But what if your passion still isn't enough? And what's the real meaning behind being burned out but still passionate? You are not broken. You're at a crossroads. This is a sign to realign and not give up. Burnout doesn't mean your purpose is over. It means your purpose is ready to evolve. You are not alone in this, but if you feel alone, get the link to join the other amazing folks in my Facebook group down below. You are exactly where you need to be to reclaim your passion and reclaim your life and love your life on purpose. If this video got you thinking a little bit differently or maybe inspired you and to maybe see cameos of my dog and like the video and maybe share this with someone else that you think could benefit from this. Sending you light and love, and always remember that you are worth it.